Hello, everybody. Thierry Williamson here, and welcome to Doom Eternal. There's not much more to say. It's Doom. I've been in a Doom mood recently. I've been wanting to play through Doom. There's other games I've been wanting to review, but Doom is one of those games that you can just sit down, chill with, and play through and have fun. I thought about playing some Spelunky too, but eventually I do want to do some playthroughs of that. But the only issue is this I can actually progress, whereas in Spelunky 2 I've only got into like the second major level, so I want to actually get kind of good at that before I actually do any Let's Plays because it'll just be very insane to just go back to 1-1 every couple seconds. But yeah, I've been wanting to do a review of this for a while, but every time I've played through this for a review, I don't know, just something prevents me for a review. I thought my brain's kind of mush right now, but you'll have to excuse that. See, I've been wanting to do longer Let's Plays, like still with editing, of course, but where you can focus on the narrative in the game in quotation marks because I like doing that. The unfortunate thing is whenever I think of those kind of Let's Plays, I think of people who just let the cutscenes play out the entire way, like with no dialogue or narration or anything. And that's kind of lame in my opinion. If you're going to do a Let's Play, spice it up a little bit. Talk. If someone wants to experience the game solely for themselves, they can play the game on their own time. Here you are. That's the thing is a lot of people use a Let's Play or a movie review because usually movie reviews or game reviews are just the person completely detailing everything in the game or movie, and they're like, now I don't have to ever watch the movie, and that's lame because there's a lot of good movies that you'll miss out on, or anime or games, and it's a shame that people look at it like that. It should be kind of like you're playing it through it with a friend, and not just a substitute for playing through it. Because most of the time, at least for me, yeah, there's some streamers I watch who like play through the entire game, but I prefer using those as podcasts instead of just watching them play the game. Like when I'm playing Spelunky 2, for example, I am happy to like listen to them and play the game with either the audio low or the audio off. So that way I can have the enjoyment of listening to them while playing my own game. Or example this, or a game I've already beaten. If I want to have something else, I know you're not supposed to multitask, but sometimes that works. And that's usually what I use Let's Plays or streams for, because that way I'll be able to enjoy the company that the stream provides essentially and the game. But most people don't look at it like that, unfortunately. I think that's how it should be. But a lot of people do just constantly say what's going on screen, which I am not a fan of, as I made very clear, which I'm not going to bring up again. It's one of those things that always upsets me. It's like, is that all you have to offer? But I also notice that a lot of those people don't even know how to edit, which is like, that's a shame. Editing is a lot of fun, honestly. I really like editing, and I don't mind the grind. It's kind of like the same. I hear a lot of people who do animation complain about how tiring animation is, and yeah, it takes a lot of time, but when I'm doing like source filmmaker stuff or even hand-drawn stuff, because I've done a bit of 2D animation, not all that much, but I've done a bit here and there. A lot of people say it's a grind, and yeah, it is, but I enjoy it because you're seeing something finally progress out of nothing, and I enjoy that, but I can see why some people might not like it. I just think that if you're going to do it, you shouldn't complain about how like time consuming and difficult it is. You should be like, all right, cool, I'm going to do it, and be happy with the fact that you're making something out of it. It's the same with art, but people will do what people do. Doom Eternal is one of those games that, see, originally when I first played through, I was like, oh yeah, this is one of my games of the year, and it still is. Don't get me wrong, but I think I like Persona Scramble a bit more. It's not just because it's Persona. I felt like that game, outside the finale of it, it had a bit more flow than Doom Eternal, because Doom Eternal, while being a fantastic game for like 95% of the runtime, there's like 2 levels near the end of the game where you're in hell that just start to drag. And the final level is pretty good, but the second to final level is where my most problems come in, because Hayden keeps repeating the same code and all that stuff. But other than that, I really like this game a whole lot, and it is definitely one of my games of the year. Although I find myself putting way more time into Animal Crossing. I think I have more than a couple dozen hours. I think I have more than 50 hours in Animal Crossing. I've been really enjoying that. That's my first time actually fully playing Animal Crossing, because I remember it being, I think it was either Halloween or around that time, where a friend invited me over to hang out at their families for like a campfire and all that stuff. And they had a GameCube, and I was being ever so slightly antisocial. And I wasn't completely antisocial, but I did spend a bit of time inside when it got like really dark out and I couldn't be around everyone who was smoking, because there's quite a few people smoking by the campfire. And so I chilled inside, and they had a GameCube, and they had Mario Kart Double Dash, which was really fun. That one I played a bunch. And they also had Animal Crossing, which I... Oh, and they had, I think, My Sims? I think they had My Sims, which I also want to play. But again, those two games were a bit too slow, so I only played Animal Crossing up until, like, you got off the train after KK talks to you, or something along those lines. I didn't play very much of it, but that memory has stuck with me a lot. Apologize if you can hear my toes cracking. But I did play Mario Kart Double Dash, which Mario Kart Double Dash is fantastic, and Mario Kart in the arcades is really fun. I'm not sure if it has unique levels. I am curious if it has unique levels or not, because I played the Mario Kart DX or XD or whatever it's called in Japan, the deluxe edition, which I just found out that's what DX stands for. I always thought it stood for Director's Cut, but it stands for Deluxe Edition. But I played through a bit of that. I played for a couple rounds of that. The issue with the only issue I have with Mario Kart in on arcades is the fact that it costs 200 yen opposed to 100 yen, like almost every other arcade game. So if you want to play, you actually have to put a lot of money into it to like fully get the most out of it. Although you can have a picture and stuff. I do wonder if my goofy face is still in the Akiba one that's across from the Akiba Beat Zone. I think it's in the Taiko? It might be in the Taiko arcade. I'm trying to remember exactly where it was, but I had a lot of fun playing that. In fact, I was too big for the arcade, so this Japanese family looked at me, and like they were like, oh my goodness, because I was like barely fitting in the sheen. I remember going to Chuck E. Cheese one year and playing, I think it was Afterburner, and oh man, I did not do well in the arcade cabinet itself, because as cool as those like moving arcade cabinets are, they kind of freak me out and my sense of balance is thrown off, which is surprising because I'm actually like fairly decent at VR, because I've played a few games in VR. Like I really like H3. I've played a bit of Half-Life Alyx, and it's fun. I wouldn't say it's like the best VR game ever made. I still prefer H3 if I'm like listening to podcasts, although Half-Life Alyx is good. I just feel like it's a bit too slow at moments. I know that they're supposed to be built up, but sometimes it just feels like, I don't know, self-masturbatory. Like it's like, oh, look at all our cool tech, opposed to actually being a full-on game for like the first 2 to 3 hours, which is just, it's a bit of a letdown because I thought maybe like it would fully like actually try to do something that a lot of other games don't do, but H3 actually has like more fluid gun combat and more weapons and all that jazz. I know that's going to be upsetting to a lot of people, but it's just, I don't know, I like it. I'm not saying I don't like it, I don't know, a lot of the other games I've played in VR so far have been kind of what I've wanted. Half-Life Alyx is really cool, though. It's very atmospheric. It's probably, outside of H3, is the most atmospheric VR game I've played so far. Although, Serious Sam in VR, I prefer Serious Sam 3 in VR. I've played both the normal version and the VR version, and normal's not very good as a game, but the VR version is really good. And I also played the Last Stand, which was okay. Although my it's the Odyssey. My Odyssey headset does have some weird tracking issues with that. Not for the hands, but the head, because it's usually out of place. Although I've only ever been able to play the VR sitting down. I don't currently have enough room where I am to stand up, unfortunately. Here's the thing: is I wish most VR games would actually like really consider people who may not have a bunch of room. Because a lot of the VR games, H3 does it really well, but Gorn doesn't do it very well at all. The Serious Sam ones do it really good. Those have good control schemes. Outside, again, the head tracking for Last Stand. Have I played anything else in VR? Yeah, I played one of the... okay, so there's a series that I can't remember the name of it, but basically it's this really cute game series where you play as a girl with a fishing rod, and you have to catch, like, massive fish. I really like those games. I have the 3 of them. It's a very charming, sweet series with this kind of creeping overtone to it. But you can play the 3rd one in VR, which is pretty cool. You can't play the other 2. I try to play Payday in VR, but unfortunately that completely requires you to be standing. Again, I wish games had better like understanding that not everyone has all the room in the world to be able to stand and play. But, you know, if you're still able to play them at least, you know. But yeah, no, and like, another thing I don't want to harp on Half-Life Alyx too much, but like, as everyone's like praised it so much, I wish more people would point out the flaws of the game, because there are quite a few. But I'll save that for a review when I eventually get around to doing that, because it is still pretty cool. I just, I'm able to see things that people don't pay attention to in the hype, unfortunately, but that it seemed to upset people when brought up. Man, although I do wish more games got VR. Like, I am happy that Persona 5 Dancing got VR. That was pretty cool, even though it's a bit lackluster. What I really wished that had in VR, like for the VR support, is I really wish you were able to walk around the rooms. All I know so far is that you can watch the girls and guys dancing, which is cool enough. But I was really hoping you'd be able to use the visual novel exploration segments in VR. I was really hoping for that. And I don't think you can do that, unfortunately, which is a bit of a letdown. But it's still cool that Persona at all has VR. VR chat was okay, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of VR chat, mainly because it's an online only thing, and if you know me, I don't really care for online multiplayer as a thing. But that's just a me thing. I know a lot of people like multiplayer games, but for me, the issue with multiplayer games is I don't have the best internet. I never have, and I don't know. Just they're not my thing, but that's okay. I know a lot of people like them. The only thing I don't like when it comes to multiplayer only games is when there are multiplayer only games, or when the game has clearly way more work put into the multiplayer and nothing put into the single player. That's always a massive disappointment to me. It's like, why even bother adding a single player if all you're going to do is just add to the multiplayer? Like, I had Modern Warfare installed on my console for the longest time, and I also had it on PC because I really liked the campaign, but it started becoming a monster in file sizes just because of the multiplayer. And I wish you're able to install just like the single player component so you could keep playing the game. I don't want to install it. It's over like 250 gigs now, and it's gross. It's so stupid. And I really liked Modern Warfare campaign and gameplay. I thought it was really good. Or, I wish that you could install either the campaign multiplayer, just the multiplayer, just Warzone, everything. So that way you don't get overwhelmed with a bunch of file sizes and things. And the maps are absolutely massive for absolutely no reason. As I forget who said it, but someone joked about the fact that it's like 100 gigs for just a couple new guns. And it starts to feel like that, but oh well. It's not like, I mean, I played through it twice, so it's not like I didn't get my enjoyment out of the game. It's kind of disappointing to have a game that is not easy to play because of how big the game is. I don't know how big, what's it called, Cold War is going to be. I'm kind of interested in that, but if it's another just giant file beast, I don't have any interest in it. I really don't, to be honest. Which is a shame because it kind of looks cool. Although, Call of Duty is one of those things where it's like, I don't know why the Steam versions of all the Call of Duty games are still $1 billion online. Like, they're $20 to $50. It's like, are you serious? Like, Black Ops 2 is still $50 on Steam, and on sale it's only like $30, and I've always found that like insane. I don't know why it's that much, but whoever puts out the games is wanting that money, and people still spend that much money. I don't think I've ever seen any of the Call of Duty games go down less than a couple, like maybe $16 or maybe $9 at the lowest. I think I saw World at War for $9 one time. I think that's when I got it. I'm not sure. I don't remember. World at War is really fun. I'll need to do a review of that eventually because I really like that game. I originally wanted to do it a while ago, but here's the thing: is there's a lot of reviews where I'm like, maybe I should talk about the games in like a series review, or maybe I should talk about the first one first. Other ones, kind of like the Resident Evil 3 review, I was like, who cares? But it's a process, and sometimes I'm just not happy with things, so it can be slow sometimes. But I love making them all. It's a lot of fun editing, even if something doesn't completely come out exactly how I want it to. The editing process is so fantastic. I don't know why everyone's like, oh man, another couple dozen hours editing. It's like, editing's fun. Yeah, it's a time-consuming process, but gosh darn it, it is an enjoyable time-consuming process, But that probably is just me. I'm weird like that. I like making things and having fun. Although I do like when things come together really quickly. Although it makes me really feel proud when something takes a long time and it comes out perfectly, or as close to perfect as you can get. That is a very, very satisfying feeling, I will tell you right now. See, I've been doing a lot of writing work, and I love writing. I just think it's funny that even when it comes to like videos or other things, I always want to be the visual person, but I'm always the person writing, which I don't have any problem with. I just think it's kind of funny that I'm the one who ends up writing the things, But I've been doing a lot of writing work, and it's been pretty fun. I've gotten some fun things. I've done some fun prompts, and I was working on a project for a while that didn't pan out, which is okay. But it always does bug me out when like a project doesn't completely like go through. But one day, the ones that do go through, those are the most satisfying. Goodness, they are. I really wanted to do a video where I talk about my trip in like Japan fully. Although here's the issue: is when I was trying to work on my computer, all my photos except for a few that are like I'm very glad I still have or lost. So now I have to basically just share stories, and naturally one day I'll be able to go back and re-get all of them and all that goodness. But oh man, I do miss all those photos because I had some really nice ones, and I do miss them. But one day, one day. But on that note, let me share some stories from Japan because I basically have an endless catalog of stories to share. So in Akiba, it was near the end of my stay in Japan, but one day I found out that there was going to be an Intel Expo where they're showing off the new i9, which was really cool. But during that, they had a bunch of Japanese streamers who were really nice. The Japanese streamers were really nice people, and I met a lot of them. Didn't, I couldn't really fully talk to them, but I took some pictures with them, and they were very nice. And then during the day, for the Fortnite stuff to play the streamers, you actually had to sign up online to do it, and you had to go through all that jazz, which I don't really care about Fortnite, so I didn't do that. What I did do, however, is I waited in line to play some. I played some Rainbow Six Siege, which I got a really cool decal chibi sticker set from, which was really cool because I haven't found those anywhere online. Like I was like looking for them to see if anyone else had them, but I can't find a single thing. So I guess it's a exclusive thing to the event. But basically, I played Rainbow Six, and funny thing is all the key bindings were bound to Japanese characters. So but they're slightly different. All the key bindings were ever so slightly different than the U.S. key bindings, from what I could tell, because I played Rainbow Six Siege, but everything was ever so slightly different than the U.S. version. But anyway, so I was playing, and outside of a few mess ups, me and my team won because we all got some really good kills and we're really good. But the salary man next to me, he was really great because like we won and he's all excited and he's like, hell, I was like, oh hell yeah, we high fived and it was great. It was a very nice thing. And there's a lot of things like that, and those memories last with me forever, and they make me smile to think about. I did love when I went to the theater, and the theater staff could see that I didn't fully understand how the ticket booth thingy worked at first, so they helped me walk through the process, and then I learned, of course. But it just makes me all warm and fuzzy inside thinking about all that. The memories are good. I wanna watch the second, not two. Yeah, it's not Two Heroes. It's Heroes Rising. I want to watch Heroes Rising again because, well, I did enjoy it while over there. My issue with it is, I think I've said this before, is the pacing at the ending, the extra 10 minutes that Two Heroes had is not welcome in my opinion. I prefer the faster pace of Two Heroes compared to the ever so slightly longer pacing of Heroes Rising, which may sound weird, but the thing about Heroes Rising is the ending kind of drags and loses a lot of flow that Two Heroes had. I personally prefer Two Heroes, and the fact that it's basically Die Hard with superheroes is really cool. That's a concept I like the idea of, but I feel like only My Hero Academia could actually pull off, to be honest. Because, like, nowadays you'd either get something way too witty and over the top and stupid, like a Marvel movie, or you get something super cynical and over the top, graphic, and dumb like The Boys. And I don't like either. Like, people are like, oh, if you don't like Marvel, you're gonna love The Boys. I'm like, no, I'm not, because it's just the opposite of Marvel, and I don't want that either. I want something that can embrace its silliness, but without being too mean-spirited about it. Especially The Boys' second season it was a meandering mess, in my opinion, But that's just the me opinion. That's just the me opinion. I don't really like. I know everyone knows my distaste for shock gore, but it does extend to like movies and TV. Like I was talking to someone about Watch Dogs Legion, and they basically like, oh yeah, the opening character dies in a stupid way. I was like, oh, that's great. I hate when games do that. Like in movies, they set up this badass character and then they just kind of job them. It's always so stupid to me because it's like, why would you set up a character that is cool and then just screw them over? Dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb. There are some movies I felt have kind of done it right, but it's not done as like a shock/goofy thing. It's done as a we're not messing around kind of thing, which can still also be annoying, but you can make it work more than most things do. I was glad that Doom Eternal here didn't have that. It never has one of those moments where it's like, haha, they died, and I was really happy with that because I remember originally seeing like the gameplay reveal where Doom guy uses the I think it's the UAC's guy's badge. I was kind of worried that they would do something shocking, but no, it's just a funny subtle scene. Well, subtle, but you know what I mean. I like that scene. a lot. I was glad that this didn't have any Wolfenstein 2 moments. It's the complete opposite of Wolfenstein 2. It's dumb fun. It's a playable 80s cartoon, and I love it. I wish there's more games that were just, hey, here's a cartoon that's playable with ultra violence and action. I know it's funny that me because here's the thing. I think it's funny. Like everyone points out that I love like Riona games and like ultra violent action anime and all that stuff. Like I've met a lot of like girl artists at Comic Cat, and I own a lot of their books and stuff. And because they because I really like their combat series where it's like a bunch of different archetypes and it's an action thing and they do really cool art and I like it. And it's inspired me in a lot of ways. And they were really nice to me because what happened is at Comic Cat I was looking for a very specific artist on the third day and I couldn't find their table because it was again that was the day I got completely bruised all over. I couldn't find their table, so I was like, oh no, I can't find it. So I asked an artist I recognized, which was the one I bought the books from, and he's like, oh yeah, here, let me help you. He didn't say it, but essentially he did that, and he walked me over through the sea of people, and I really really appreciate that. Still to this day, that makes me very happy. But I was glad about that. But basically, I like action-oriented violence and stuff like that. But if it's just meant for like comedy or shock, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. It really does actually, which is funny. I know a lot of people think that's stupid, but it is one of those things that just kind of upsets me for some reason, and I don't like it particularly. Especially when it's like the very uncanny internet gore. Ugh, that stuff just I don't like it. I don't like it at all. For example, I hate in movies where like a character gets vaporized or things. That stuff kind of just gets to me. I was really glad in Sonic the Hedgehog where I think it's Dr. Stone, not Dr. Stone, but Agent Stone or Smith or Eggman's sidekick in the movie. I was glad there wasn't like a scene where he's like using sonic powers and it disintegrates. I hate that shit in kids' movies. That always makes me feel really uncomfortable and ruins the mood of the movie. There's a few movies I was really enjoying once, and that happened. It's like, oh, no, never mind. I know it sounds weird to let one moment ruin the movie, but it really does. It just makes the entire thing feel really kind of scummy, in my opinion. But, that's just how it be. That's just how it be. But I have very weird like quirks about that sort of stuff. But I think everyone kind of does. Like, okay, there's a few things that like one of the few things that I can't stand because I remember back in high school when I was watching an anime video. I think I was watching a review of Higurashi, and for some reason the critic, like, because I was doing my homework and because we were doing homework in class, and I was watching this review of Higurashi. And for some reason, the guy showed the fingernail scene where the character has their hand in the thing, and the police character slams their hand down, and it just jabs up the nail. When I was moving comic books one day, the reason it's even more painful for me is one day I was moving comic books in a big box, and it slipped, and so I wouldn't spill the comics, I had to adjust my hand. But under the hand was a bit of a shelf, and my nail hit the shelf and bent inwards into my finger, snapping the nail in half, so the nail was cutting into my thumb, and it was the most painful thing. And since everyone else was asleep at the moment, because I was trying to move some stuff and be productive when I was awake, I did my best not to scream, and that was one of the most painful moments. And so that scene with Hiroshi, and there's a scene in Monster where they're clipping Wolfgang Grimmer's fingernails short, and I've done that before too, and just anything involving fingernails, nails, or like hand flesh is a big no-no for me. And I know I've probably made everyone click out of the video by those descriptions, but yeah, I hate that shit. And that's my list of very few phobias. And I have a couple like subset phobias, like weird radio sounds like number stations and things, but there you go. Hope that was fun for everyone.